So, the power to tax is the power to destroy. Say that one more time for you guys. The power to tax is the power to destroy. That was a quote taken from John Marshall, who might sound familiar to you guys. He was one of the more prominent Supreme Court justices of our court system. He always started the cases like, Marbury vs. Madison, McCulloch vs. Maryland, all the cases that we forgot because you're not going to remember history anymore. It's not important. Basically what I want to tell you is Proposition 55. And what it's going to do, it's going to raise taxes for the 1% of the wealthiest Americans. How this affects us is we're all community college students, we're all here in a community college classroom, and I imagine all of us want to be successful one day. So that's going to affect us both in each way. So we have to pay taxes eventually. For those of us that work, we already pay taxes. We get our checks and we see how much gets taken out, and we're like, wow, I made that much, but they took out this much from our check. Like, what the heck? That's how I feel anyways. Today I'll talk to you guys about the origins, how it started, where it came from and what it's going to do, the pro side versus the con side, so the viewpoints of the supporters versus the opposing side, and then lastly the educational and the fiscal impact that it's going to have. So let me start by talking to you guys about where it came from. So originally it came from Proposition 30, which was a raise on state and sales income taxes for the wealthiest Americans, so like 1%. It started out, it was only supposed to be temporary. Governor Jerry Brown said that this measure would only last until 2018, but seeing as that, I guess we're not having enough funding, he wants to keep it going until 2030, so like another 12 years he wants to keep that funding going. So the original goal of Proposition 30 was to increase funding for schools and healthcare programs that were lost during the recession. So that's what Proposition 55 is going to continue to do. It's going to continue funding for the schools and healthcare programs for low-income families that can't afford it. So that's what the goal is. And so now it's basically backed by healthcare professionals, teachers, and labor unions who want to see this this funding continue so they can get their programs back. Like the art programs and music programs that were lost during the recession and that can't be afforded anymore. And so the way it works, Proposition 55, it starts at a 1% increase for those making over $250,000 or more, and it jumps to 3% for those that are making over $500,000 or more. And there's a chart that shows you how it's going to continue to work, but obviously I don't have a chart. So now I get to talk to you about what it is and where it came from, tell you about the viewpoints of the supporters versus those who oppose it. So the supporting side, according to Ballotpedia, it includes the California Democratic Party, the California Medical Association, and there's various school and college boards. Like there was a list. I was gonna try to remember them all to tell you guys, but there's like an endless list. But oddly enough, North Orange County Community College District is not on that list, and that's the district that Fullerton College belongs to. So I'm not sure how that affects us directly. So what the supporting side wants you to get out of this is that it's gonna only affect the wealthiest Americans, so the 1%. So when I think of that 1%, I think people, like celebrities and athletes, because this is California. This is where all like the famous people live and stuff. So maybe it's going to affect more than the 250,000 or people that make over 250,000, but I don't know. They just want you to know that this is going to continue funding for us, community college students, to help get teachers in classrooms so we get the classes that we need. Because I'm tired of being on waiting lists. I want to get the classes that I need so I can get out here and transfer. So I like that part about it. And it's going to bring, like I said, the programs back, the arts and music programs that were lost during the recession. So that's basically what they want you to know. And for the opposing side, it includes the California Republican Party, California Chamber of Commerce, and the California Taxpayers Association. And so their main argument really is that Governor Jerry Brown, you can't trust him because he said this will only be temporary. He told people to back him because he would repeal this, or he would extend this when it expired in 2018. But now he wants to extend it. So they're saying this is why you can't trust politicians, because he said one thing, he does another, and things like that. And they also want you to know that it's going to affect small businesses who aren't going to be able to afford to provide jobs for people because, they're having to pay a higher tax, so that they're going to have to not hire as many people to work for them. And so that's pretty much what the opposing side wants you to know versus the con side. So now I told you guys about what it is, the viewpoints. I'll tell you how it's going to affect us educationally and the fiscal impact. So educational, it's going to help us directly, community college students, because it's going to give us more teachers, it's going to help us get even more classes, tuition's going to go down, it's going to help us enormously. Also, it might affect us for jobs. For those of you that work like at a small like mom and pop shop or places like at a franchise, it might affect you in that way as well. Because you might get less hours, or they might have to cut jobs because those people have to pay more in taxes because it's going to affect their business. As a fiscal impact, it's going to bring anywhere between $4 billion and $9 billion annually. And the way they're going to divide that up is half is going to go roughly towards the funding for schools, with like 60 million between 1.5 billion in like a rainy day bank account. So like if we're in trouble, that's where we're going to go to get that money. So now I told you guys about what it is, the viewpoints, and how it's going to impact us. I hope I get educated enough to go out and make a decision on this and how it's going to affect all of us. I did all the research. I did as much as I could to hopefully inform you guys today. So thank you for your time.